Wishes you a pleasant listening experience. At midnight, I met my husband outside the delivery room. Inside was his mistress and their newborn son. As for me, I was the main surgeon for that baby. At 2 a.m., I was called to go to the maternity ward to attend the meeting. Outside the delivery room door, I saw a familiar figure. It was my husband, Chong Hao, the concubine who was working in England. When he saw me, Chong Hao was full of panic, wanting to say something but stopping himself. But I didn't have time to question him about why he was here, and immediately went into the delivery room to check on the condition of the newborn baby. It was a child born with a congenital intracranial tumor. So the obstetrics department called a meeting with the neurology and oncology departments. As a specialist in oncology, I naturally became the main surgeon for this case. The colleagues were gossiping about the pregnant woman's private life. The girl was only 22 years old and had just graduated not long ago. She was already married before graduating. She had given birth before getting married. The father of the child was waiting outside the door. He looked very old. He must be. Everyone glanced at each other, their eyes full of hidden meanings. They understood without saying anything. As a doctor, I often encounter such dramatic situations, but I never expected that one day I would fall into such a bloody drama. And even more so, I never expected that Chong Hao would betray me. Thinking back, there were signs of this happening. A year ago, Chong Hao had been praising a student under his guidance. Half a year ago, he suddenly went to London for a 2-year internship, and I was always busy with work, so I didn't suspect anything. Thinking about the pregnant woman was his student, Nguyen Nu Fu, and they were already entangled with each other right after graduation. If it weren't for this unexpected situation, he would have continued to deceive me. I calmed down and started preparing for the surgery. No matter whose child it was, as a doctor, I still had to do my best to save it. After 2 days and 1 night, a total of 4 major and minor surgeries, I was finally able to save the child's life. However, because the tumor was too large and was pressing on the nerves, the child was likely to suffer from cerebral palsy. When the surgery ended, I walked out of the operating room and saw Chong Hao holding the pregnant woman waiting outside the door, his face full of worry. "How is it, Adone? My child, my child." My heart suddenly stopped. 2 days, 1 night, 36 hours, I performed 4 surgeries, almost fainted twice right at the operating table. But in his heart there was only his lover and his child, not a single explanation for me. I spoke coldly, mechanically. "The child is out of danger, but there is a possibility that he will suffer from cerebral palsy. I hope the family will be mentally prepared." "Don, you evil woman, you have no morals. Did you see that Chong Hao and I had a child, so you took this opportunity to kill my child?" Yuan Yufu was about to attack me but was stopped by Chong Hao. "I don't have disappointed you so much. I used to think you were an upright and kind person, but I didn't expect you to bring your personal feelings into the surgery. If something happens, come to me. How can you be so cruel to a newborn baby?" Trin Hao hugged Nguyen Gufu tightly, who was sobbing in pain, looking at me with a sorrowful expression. The surrounding colleagues were all stunned by this unexpected event. No one expected that I would become the female lead in such a bloody drama. Slap! I turned it off right in Chong Hao's face. While Chong Hao was still feeling excited, I grabbed Yuan Yufu's hair and turned it off for her too. Yuan Yufu wanted to rush up and fight me, but was quickly restrained by my colleagues. "You adulterous couple still have the nerve to criticize me. I don't give my all in every surgery worthy of each patient." I pointed straight at Trin Hao's chest. "What about you? While I was saving people, you two secretly had an affair, and even had a child together. Aren't you here with me? Is this your so-called training?" Chong Hao knew he was wrong. His eyes avoided me, not daring to look straight at me. The original language talisman hugged Chong Hao's arm again. "Teacher, our little one in this life will never know how to dance again." Trin Hao suddenly raised his head and shouted angrily, "The child is innocent. If you hate me, then blame me. You are a top expert in oncology. How could you leave behind such a small tumor? Just because you can't have children, you even want to harm my child with someone else. I'm sorry you did it on purpose." Looking at Chong Hao's crazy face, I couldn't recognize what kind of person the once smiling boy had become. "This was the retribution for your defeat." I gave a commanding voice. There was no time to go crazy with me, so I thought about the child's future. The original language talisman shouted with a firm voice, Teacher, we must make the person who harmed Chu pay. Trin Hao kept his voice comforting her. Ngufu, let's go see Chu first, I'll take care of the rest. This matter quickly reached the director's ears. He approved a 2-month leave for me and told me to rest at home. This incident also made me look back at Chang Hao as a person. He was a typical rural student from the south of Phoenix. We met during graduate school. After graduating, he continued his doctorate while I did my internship at the hospital. During his PhD studies, his salary was pitifully low, and the whole family relied on me alone to support them. During that time I was pregnant, but he was in the final stages of his research, so I had no choice but to have an abortion. After that, my body became severely weakened, and for many years I was unable to conceive again. Trin Hao, thanks to my parents' introduction, was quickly retained at the school and became the youngest professor. Over the years, he gradually became cold towards me. I thought it was because the love had passed its passionate period, and now there was only family companionship left. I didn't expect him to deceive me like that. On the 5th day of my vacation, I received a call from Chang Hao. Sudong, you dare to freeze my bank card and even seal my house. Chang Hao's voice rang out through gritted teeth. That's right, I filed for property preservation. Is there a problem? I didn't intend to be so heartless at first, but it seems like I'm forced to divorce now. I laughed coldly. I should have been the one to propose the divorce. You are so dirty, I will not reuse old things. After saying that, I resolutely hung up. A woman's enlightenment is often only a moment. When I entered the operating room, I still had a glimmer of hope, but the incident outside the mortuary door that day completely killed me. A woman, when sober, is usually smart and decisive to the point of coldness. During those 5 days of leave, I was not idle at all. I had already forged all of our joint assets and filed a petition to the court for property preservation. I wanted to make Chang Hao leave empty-handed. The next day, I received a summons from the court. Her husband, Tudong, had filed for divorce and was required to appear in court on time. Well, I had prepared all the documents and was just waiting for the trial date. Right at the courthouse, I arrived on time. Trin Hao had clearly prepared in advance. Out of 365 days a year, Tudong was not at home 360 days. Our relationship has seriously broken down. I request a divorce and division of assets. Your Honor, it is true that our relationship has broken down, but it is because Trin Hao had an affair. I did not have an affair. Everything must have evidence. What do you have to accuse me of adultery? I completely ignored him and turned to speak to the judge. We have already tampered with the paternity test results. How did you get the results of the paternity test? Chang Hao's eyes widened in disbelief. After only a month, he understood. Suing, I should have divorced you a long time ago. All these years you've always been wary of me. I've been gone for half a year, and yet you still have my genetic material. Chang Hao gritted his teeth in anger. It seemed like he forgot that there was a hair-tying ceremony in our wedding ceremony. I've always kept your hair at home. What about Xiao Zhao's genetic sample? You dare say you didn't wash it during surgery. Craniotomy requires shaving to clean the surgical area. Of course you have to cut your hair. I pursed my lips to test him. You had planned this all along, right? You were still cold, heartless, and selfish. The judge couldn't take it anymore and knocked on the gavel to remind him. Your Honor, I spoke calmly. Trin Hao has been living with another woman for the past half year. Their child is now 7 days old. During that time, he kept saying that he was studying in England. A few days ago, Chang Hao even planned to sell his assets, but I promptly filed a request for asset preservation. For the above reasons, I officially requested Chang Hao to leave empty-handed and immediately proceed with dividing the assets. The judge nodded, accepting the defendant's request. As he left the court, Chang Hao's face was as black as rock bottom. After all, he still thought he could get half of his assets back. Who would have thought that he would rush headlong into the battle and not get even a single cent back? A total of 50 million, he didn't get a single cent. Chang Hao angrily shouted, I'm the boss, you're really good at calculating. Don't be too complacent, you made Chu like this, there will be retribution. I don't know if I will get retribution or not, I smiled back. It's just that your retribution comes very quickly. Now you're left with nothing. After saying that, I smiled happily at him, slammed the car door and left proudly. Looking through the rearview mirror, I saw Trin Hao's face as pale as a banana leaf, My mood suddenly lightened. I had to eat a big meal to double the joy. I have been busy with work for many years. Rarely have a long vacation like this, must enjoy it. Just returned from vacation in Sanya. I received a call from the director. Nguyen Fu have sued you for practicing medicine illegally. The court will open the trial tomorrow. I know, director, I will definitely be there. Don't worry, the hospital has hired a top lawyer. You have been dedicated all these years, we all trust and support you. I have been practicing for many years, never made any mistakes, how could I be afraid of such slander? The next day I went to court with my lawyer on time. Nguyen Fu also invited a lawyer. This time it seemed she was a little smarter. At the beginning, Nguyen Fu tearfully accused me, saying that I was jealous of her and intentionally harmed her child. But while dragging her in like that, she unintentionally criticized that she was a mistress, not married and had a child. Her lawyer's face turned pale. In the end, Nguyen Fu also kept quiet, but let the lawyer speak. Her lawyer started to release documents from the legal basis, my alleged violations, to the related evidence, and ended with a list of compensation requests. Nguyen Fu really knows how to ask for compensation. She dared to ask for 50 million. My lawyer remained calm and took out all the surgical records from that day, the surgical notice, the patient's related medical records, the tumor dissection report, and clinical studies on the tumor's postoperative sequelae. In summary, the plaintiff's sequelae were completely within the scope of normal medical sequelae, and my client had not committed any wrongdoing. Everything was clear, transparent, and undeniable. After all, this lawyer was someone invited by the hospital, and had previously been our hospital's financial doctor. Having been involved in a medical dispute, he decided to change his career to become a lawyer. He knows very well how to defend doctors. The opposing lawyer is completely speechless, unable to refute. The original language is so dense that it is almost too thick. The surgery took such a long time, it was clearly just a small surgery, there must be something fishy. Here is the timesheet for each surgery along with the bill for the supplies used. My lawyer replied calmly. She is a leading expert in oncology, how could she leave behind a metastasis? This is a clinical report of a brain tumor resection. In newborns, the rate of leaving behind metastases such as cerebral palsy is up to 90%. The risk of disease in infants also increases. Impossible. She envies me. Jealous because I get to be with Trin Hao. Jealous because I can give birth to a son. She is a hen that can't lay eggs. The original language talisman began to lose control and screamed. After saying that, she even took off her shoes and threw them straight at me. The judicial police immediately stepped forward to restrain her. There was no doubt I won the case. Outside the courthouse, Chong Hao came to pick up the original language talisman. She threw herself into his arms, tears streaming down her face. Suing, why are you becoming more and more selfish, cold, and disregarding life? Someone like you doesn't deserve to be a doctor. Chong Hao frowned and said with the tight lips, you have caused the grandson that my mother has been waiting for so many years to become like this. She will never forgive you. The original language talisman immediately used my ex-mother-in-law as pressure. It turned out that my ex-mother-in-law had known about the existence of the original language talisman for a long time, and had even tacitly accepted this child. If that was the case, then I didn't need to hold back anymore. Sure enough, less than 2 days later, Chong Hao's mother called. Suing, why can't I get into the apartment complex? Her voice was filled with anxiety. I gently removed the mask and replied, oh, Trin Hao and I are divorced. That house belongs to me now. This is my son's house, what right do you have to take it? She and he are divorced. This house must be returned to my son. I didn't bother to reply, just picked up the phone. Anyway, the apartment management was blocking it. She couldn't get in. Not long after, there was a loud knock on my door. Ko Tadone. Someone reported to the police that you were occupying residential houses. I hope you will cooperate with the investigation. I opened the door and saw 2 police officers standing in front of me. Next to them was Chong Hao's mother, her face full of pride. She wouldn't open the door for me. How could she dare not open the door for the police? This was my son's house, I couldn't let her take it. I completely ignored Trin Hao's mother. Dear police officers, if there is any problem, please tell me. I will cooperate fully with the investigation. This lady reported that you occupied her house. I would like you to present the relevant documents. I took out all the documents, the pink book, the divorce papers, the court judgment, the land transfer certificate, everything is there. Her son and I are divorced. He left empty-handed because he had an affair during their marriage and had a child. All the evidence is here, you guys take your time to look at it. You lied, my son did not have an affair. She was the one who was not at home all day. There must be a man outside. Mother Trenhouse shouted and tried to snatch the papers from my hand. The police immediately raised their eyebrows and raised their hands to stop her. Do not obstruct our work. Otherwise, you will be prosecuted for obstructing an official in the performance of his duties. Mother Trenhouse was immediately frightened into silence. The police carefully checked the documents. After a while, Changhao's mother started to look smug again. Officers, she also harmed my nephew. She deliberately played tricks during the surgery and caused my nephew to have cerebral palsy. I was so angry that I burst out laughing. It turned out that Trenhouse didn't dare say anything to his mother. I took out another document, the medical dispute verdict. It was just decided the day before yesterday. The two policemen looked at it with troubled faces, as if they were constipated. There was nothing wrong with the documents. Mother Changhao's was flustered. What kind of police are you? How could you let a cruel woman like her live in my son's house and harm my eldest grandson? As she spoke, she was about to rush in and attack. The two policemen immediately warned her. She had previously filed a false report, and now she was trying to assault the police. This is your final warning. If you do it again, we will put you in detention. My son is a professor at University A. You are not allowed to touch me, she screamed. But the police did not listen to her and immediately restrained her. Mother Trenhouse was so angry that I was going crazy. I understand. You guys are in cahoots with each other, you're a bunch of idiots. To Doan, that evil woman, you deserve to die. You cheated my son out of money and even harmed my grandson. If I can't give birth myself, I won't let my son find someone else to give birth. I shouted. Can I give birth or not? Why can't I give birth? Don't you know clearly? Hearing that, Changhao's mother's face immediately turned pale, unable to speak. That year, after I became pregnant and was recuperating at home, she came to visit me, bringing with her some folk remedies from the village, forcing me to take them. After 3 days of taking them, I suffered massive hemorrhage and had to be taken to the emergency room that night. From then on, I was never able to get pregnant again. Also, the apartment you're living in is in my name. I'll give you 3 days to move out, or I'll call a locksmith and a moving company to throw everything out. She said she was sick. That is the apartment my son bought for my retirement. You have not harmed my grandson enough, you want to harm me too. I tell you, my son has a lot of money, just wait and cry. The police immediately escorted Changhao's screaming mother out. 3 days later, I brought the locksmith and the moving company to the luxury apartment where Changhao's mother was staying as scheduled. With just a brief command from me, the locksmith immediately started to open the lock, and the movers started to carry out each item. There were quite a few things there, and I sat there watching them move for 2 hours. Just then I heard her calling from the stairs. Divorced, my son didn't even care about her. She was just a mediocre doctor, and she couldn't lay eggs either. Hearing that, the movers all looked at each other with evil eyes, awkwardly silent. Continue moving, triple the salary, I lightly ordered. Immediately, all the movers increased their speed significantly. As soon as Changhao's mother went upstairs with her phone, she saw the door open and screamed, "Who is it? How dare you open my door? How dare you steal in broad daylight?" She grabbed a worker by the collar. "I'll call the police." He went with me to the police station. At this time, she just discovered me sitting leisurely on the sofa in the living room. Aha, I thought someone was so bold. It was you. I hadn't even come to you to settle the score, and yet you dared to come to my door. On the other end of the phone, another woman's voice rang out. "Big sister, what's going on? Is there a thief? My son's ex-wife is bullying people. She stole all my stuff and wants me to sleep on the street. Come here quickly. Wait, we'll be right there." The workers kept moving the items out one by one, no matter how hard Changhao's mother tried to pull them back. She looked at me sitting comfortably on the sofa, so angry that her legs grew hairy. "Let my son come and teach you a lesson. How, I intend to take over your mother's house and force her to sleep on the street. Hurry up and come save her." She was covered in tears and snot, crying as if she had been wronged to the extreme. As for me, I was leisurely playing Candycraft, not bothering to stop. As soon as we arrived, his mother immediately rushed over, hugged her son and complained endlessly. Seeing the scene of the furniture being cleared out, Chang Hao shouted loudly. Everyone stopped for me, but no one listened to Tren Hao. The workers just wanted to finish the job quickly to get triple the salary, so their hands never stopped. Tren Hao walked over and knocked my phone to the ground. You've done enough, haven't you had enough? I immediately stood up and confronted him. I should be the one asking you that, have you done enough? Tren Hao's mother stood to the side and yelled. Son, kick this evil woman out. She hasn't harmed my grandchild enough, now she wants to harm me too. At that moment, Tren Hao's relatives also came in a row, 7 to 8 people in total. Seeing the chaos, everyone rushed into the house like a swarm of bees. Big sister, we're here to help you. Chang Hao is here too, we can't let his mother suffer any loss. Your mother worked hard to raise you, now you can't hurt her because of an outsider. Stop it all. As soon as he finished speaking, Chang Hao's relatives started to pull hands, argue and even fight with the moving workers. The scene became chaotic and out of control. Taking advantage of the jealousy, Chang Hao's mother rushed straight at me, intending to attack me. I reacted quickly, immediately rushed into the bathroom, locked the door and called the police. The police arrived very quickly, only 3 minutes later. As soon as they arrived, they immediately restrained the people who were arguing and fighting. What is going on here? A policeman asked sternly. Chang Hao's mother immediately jumped up and cried, complaining about her troubles. My ex-daughter-in-law was always away from home, had affairs with other men outside, and wanted to divorce my son. Now she was eyeing the apartment my son bought for me to live in when I was old, called someone to come and clear out all my belongings, and wanted to kick me out. I am old and weak. I really don't know how to live anymore. Where is the person concerned? The police asked. Seeing that the situation was under control, I calmly walked out of the bathroom. Excuse me, did you call the moving company? A policeman asked. Yes, I called. Sirs, I answered clearly. Is this your house? Do you have any papers? Why are you moving like this? Of course it's mine. All the papers are in place. I smiled and took the land title from my pocket and gave it to the police. You're talking nonsense. This is the apartment my son bought for me to live in. Chang Hao's mother screamed and grabbed her son's arm. Hao, quickly explain this to the police. You bought this house before we got married, how can it be in his name? Tren Hao hesitated for a few seconds then spoke reluctantly. It was true that I bought it before we got married, but my parents bought it for me before we got married. It can't be, my son earned a lot of money after getting his PhD and bought me this house. Chang Hao's mother still kept her mouth shut. How funny. I paid for your son's tuition and living expenses while he was studying for his PhD. How could he afford to buy you a house? Chang Hao, tell me. I curled my lips and gave a fake smile. Chang Hao immediately blushed and was speechless. Back then, because I thought he was a filial son, I let his mother live in the apartment I bought for marriage. Who would have thought he would come home and brag to his mother like this? My eyes were full of contempt. Hearing this, Tren Hao's relatives started to talk. They thought he was very capable, but it turned out he was a parasite on women. The reason for the divorce was probably because the girl's family was fed up with him. After so many years of not having a child, maybe there is something wrong with Hao. At this moment, the oldest woman in the family, Chang Hao's third aunt, stood up and said coldly, Second sister, it turns out that this house is not yours, and you even called your whole family to make trouble. She turned to the police and smiled. Police, we really had no idea why she called us. She said this was her house, so we came to help. Now we know that the house is in someone else's name. We have nothing to do with it. Please understand. Second sister, it turns out this house is not yours, so why did you call us here? She turned to smile awkwardly at the police, pointing at Tren Hao's mother. Police, it's not us, she called us to defend her. We are law-abiding citizens, please let us go. The police checked the papers and said coldly, Everyone go to the police station to make a report. You guys beat someone up, aren't you going to pay compensation? The movers all had injuries on their hands, feet, and faces. Upon hearing that, a middle-aged woman, a cousin of Chang Hao's family, immediately started scolding loudly. Second sister, don't you know how your son feels? I told you Hao is just a poor student, how could he afford such a big apartment? At that time I wondered, but you turned around and said I was jealous of you. What's the matter? He's a parasite, and a stubborn parasite at that. Now the girl's family doesn't want your child anymore, and you've even dragged our relatives into this. I won't pay this compensation. Whoever caused the trouble will have to take responsibility for it themselves. Hearing that, Trin Hao's mother also got angry. You guys came here on your own accord. Seeing that my son is a professor, you came here to flatter him. My son has never bullied women. His achievements today are all thanks to his own abilities. Furthermore, he took the initiative to break up with this rotten woman. Now I have a new daughter-in-law who has given birth to my chubby grandson, Daik Tun. The two sides started arguing and shouting, neither side giving in. In the end, the entire group was taken to the police station for questioning. Thanks to my promise of triple the salary, the movers were also willing to go to the police station to cooperate in making a report. As soon as I arrived at the police station, I ran into two policemen who had come to my house a few days before. They were surprised. Why are there two more people? I immediately explained. Sirs, it was because she occupied my house and refused to move out that I had to resort to such drastic measures. Cheng Hao, say something quickly. Didn't you buy this house for me to retire to? Cheng Hao's mother turned to her son and tried to put pressure on him. Cheng Hao was speechless and could only lower his head and speak softly. Mom, come live with me. That house was given to me when we divorced. I laughed coldly. Cheng Hao, you don't even need face anymore. That house was clearly my personal property before marriage. Having said that, I took out the divorce decree, marriage certificate, and divorce certificate. The police checked all the documents one by one, then confirmed. This house was indeed her premarital property. However, the way she handled it was a bit harsh. Sorry, officers. I told her many times to move out, but she refused. There was no other way, so I did it. Do the right thing and stop at the right time, admit your mistakes and correct them. I am a law-abiding citizen. The police did not dare to speak harshly to me with my gentle smile. Don't do that again. At this time, Trin Hao's mother started making a fuss again. Why did I have to move out? She must have done something to the land title. Trin Hao couldn't stand seeing his mother being wronged. I'm a businessman, you left empty-handed. Why can't you think about your mother? I laughed coldly. I also intended to think about her, consider giving her the house. But what about her? Come to my house and report to the police. I intentionally harmed her. I glanced at her. Cheng Hao's mother's face immediately changed, revealing a look of shock. It was clear that Cheng Hao had no idea that his mother had come to cause trouble for me. But I really overestimated Cheng Hao's morality. His mother is old and uneducated, can't you give her some slack? We're already divorced. There is no relationship between me and her anymore. Tell me, why should I give in to a stranger? I'm sorry, you are not only selfish and cold, but also have no humanity, no filial piety. You do everything so heartlessly, don't expect me to leave you alone. I miss you, he replied coldly. You should take care of the workers whose faces and arms were beaten by your relatives first, then discuss compensation. As soon as compensation was mentioned, Cheng Hao's third wife immediately interjected. Cheng Hao, it was your mother who called us here, and we don't have any money. You are a university professor, do you lack this little money? Cheng Hao's mother was furious when she heard that, not willing to let her son spend money. You guys take responsibility for your actions. Why are you forcing my son to spend money? They shouted while talking. No one gave in, the situation once again fell into chaos. In the end, the police had to separate everyone into separate rooms to restore order. Cheng Hao, not wanting to lose face in front of his relatives, gritted his teeth and took care of all the compensation. I gave a slight eye signal to the Italian moving workers, telling them to go ahead and demand it. The workers understood and happily raised the compensation by a considerable amount. Before leaving, they patted my shoulder and said with a smile, Sister, next time you need something, remember to call us. I also smiled brightly, looking at Cheng Hao's mother's trembling, angry expression, and felt indescribably happy. I knew Cheng Hao wouldn't be willing to stop, but I didn't expect him to stoop to this level. A video of me hitting Cheng Hao with the original language talisman outside the operating room was suddenly posted online. The video had no sound, it only recorded the moment I attacked. In the blink of an eye, public opinion exploded. And Benvienian were at peace. As soon as they opened social media, countless curses immediately came pouring in like a storm. In this day and age, doctors still dare to beat people, and the law is not like that. A woman who just gave birth, so weak, yet she still has the heart to do it. Such a cruel person from the core does not deserve to be a doctor. Their license should be revoked. Hospital A immediately fired Su Don. Hospital A immediately fired Su Don. Chung Hao was trying to use public opinion to put pressure on the hospital, forcing them to fire me, wanting me to lose my reputation. The director called, his voice low. Suing, stay home and rest for the time being. Don't appear near the hospital. The relationship between doctors and patients is already tense. Patients' families are easily provoked by public opinion and act impulsively. I guess there are definitely quite a few people in the hospital right now who are taking advantage of this opportunity to fish in troubled waters and want to cause trouble. Even the security guard of the residential area called to warn me. Miss, there is a group of people gathered outside the apartment complex. It is best for you not to go out at this time. It turns out that Chung Hao posted my home address online. He really wanted me to get into trouble. After all, French is just a crowd, isn't it? Just then my parents called. Don, what was that video about? Did Trin Hao do something wrong to you? My parents have always been my strongest support, always standing by me. But they are old, I don't want to make them worry anymore. Dad, Mom, you and Trin Hao are divorced. He did wrong me, but I can handle it myself. Don't. Nonsense. If you're feeling wronged after the divorce, why didn't you tell us? Our family isn't meant to be bullied. Actually, I haven't been bullied much. I tried to hold back my tears, my voice soft. You made Trin Hao leave empty-handed. And these things on the internet are just his small net. I will be fine soon. All these days, through all the shocks big and small, I have not shed a single tear. But just one word of concern from my parents, all the resentment in my heart suddenly burst out. Don, don't worry, I will definitely get justice for you. Dad, don't be angry, take care of your health first. Those petty people are not worth getting angry about. This incident has made my parents worried. I cannot let them continue to worry. I must quickly quell public opinion and bring the truth to light. Very quickly after that, someone released a video version with full sound right under the controversial post. In it, my voice was heard clearly and firmly. You adulterous couple still have the face to criticize me. I suing do my best in every surgery worthy of each patient. What about you? While I was saving people, the two of you secretly mixed things up and even had a child together. You said you were studying abroad in England. Is this your so-called internship? I also quickly released the divorce certificate, divorce judgment, and medical dispute judgment, and made them public on various media platforms. Afterwards, I contacted several major news agencies and media outlets, requesting to report the truth. The tide of public opinion immediately turned. All the criticisms began to pour in on Chung Hao. A professor from School A is actually the kind of person who cheats on his marriage. Trin Hao, you are not worthy to be a teacher. You are indeed a teacheress. She meant to play on the word professor. This mistress is a student at University A. She is truly shameless. Soon after, a student at University A posted a video of the UNUFU thesis defense, along with a comment. This is a famous person in our school, the academic fox. In the video, an elderly professor held UNUFU's thesis, flipped through the pages, and then coldly threw it on the table. There was no need to look at it anymore. No matter what the result of her defense was, Professor Chung would still back her up. For the student community, cheating and violating academic ethics are always the most severely condemned. As soon as the video went viral, a series of articles about Nguyen Gufu's alleged academic cheating quickly climbed to the top of search results, promoting Nguyen Gufu. Very quickly after that, the families of patients who had been treated by me spoke up in my defense. We live in the countryside and couldn't get an appointment. The doctor booked us in extra times and charged us the lowest possible fee. The whole family was so grateful. The county doctor made a wrong diagnosis and almost killed someone. But my doctor only prescribed 12 yuan and cured me. My doctor is very experienced in clinical practice. My mother had a brain tumor. Other hospitals said it was incurable. Yet it was my doctor who pulled her back from the jaws of death. I have to praise the online community for being so good this time. They exposed my entire relationship one by one. Trin Hao and Nguyen Gefu even carefully compiled a detailed timeline, logical and coherent like writing a thesis. Public opinion was constantly in turmoil, and finally University A could not bear the pressure from society and was forced to make an official announcement. Chang Hao was disciplined and temporarily suspended from teaching. He lifted it up very heavily and put it down very gently. It seemed that Chang Hao really had someone backing him up. Then we have to wait and see if his people can stand up to the Su family. A few days later, the public opinion gradually calmed down. Chang Hao called, his voice full of pride and provocation. Tadone, do you think you can drag me down by relying on public opinion? I am a key young talent of the school, with dozens of national-level topics in hand. The school is training me to compete for the position of academician. Do you think a few petty rumors can make the school abandon you? Hearing his arrogant tone, I just smiled faintly. Well then I wish you success in your research. Chang Hao was not only evil but also very stupid. A poor student from the countryside in City A without any connections, how could he be valued by the school, and even hold dozens of national projects? Did he really think it was because of his own ability? There were many talented people, why did it have to be him? Wasn't it because he was the son-in-law of the Su family? My father used to be a famous miracle doctor in the surgical world, although he had long since retired, but as long as high-ranking figures in society needed him, he still had a position that made people respect him. 3 parts. In the past, powerful families who wanted to invite him to perform surgery had to make an appointment in advance, and even had to send a private jet to come. Even though he had not personally performed surgery for many years, his reputation and influence had never faded. The principal of University A, thanks to the reminder from his superiors, had come to love Trin Hao a little. Yet he, a man who did not know his own strength, actually thought that it was all due to his superior ability. I was truly blind before, and was even moved by his calm, unconceited appearance. Looking back now, that was not modesty but rather ridiculous arrogance. Luckily, I now see his true self. To celebrate my awakening, I decided to treat myself to a full-service spa package to relax my mind. While I was lying down and enjoying the relaxation, my phone rang. It was Trin Hao. Tadone, what are you giving me now? All my research projects have been suspended, and my title has been reduced to lab technician. I didn't do anything, I replied blandly. Who else is here besides you? I live a good life and don't make enemies with anyone. Oh, I deliberately stretched it out, looking surprised. Maybe someone wanted to please my dad, so they conveniently removed all of his other things. Please your dad? Isn't he just a retired old doctor? How funny, I burst out laughing. You were once a professor at the age of 35, mastering dozens of national topics, all thanks to your own abilities. It was because you were the son-in-law of the Tu family. It was only natural that you didn't know my father, because your background had already determined your narrow vision. Even the principal of University A, when he met my father, had to respectfully call him master. I originally intended to resolve the matter quietly, but he used public opinion to force me into a corner. My father knew about this, of course he wouldn't let him off the hook. Trin Hao probably couldn't accept it for a moment, he just muttered, "Impossible, impossible." I didn't bother listening to his ramblings anymore and hung up. Let him slowly recover from the shock. Trin Hao's project was suspended. Before, his reputation as a professor was also tarnished. Having left empty-handed after the divorce, he now had no choice but to take his young child and his biological mother and live together in the dormitory for lecturers that the school had assigned. I had no intention of destroying his way of life. Just let him work as a lab worker for the rest of his life. It would be enough to support his small family. Of course, on the condition that the other child does not have cerebral palsy. Because if he does, the journey to save him will be a bottomless pit, both costly and lengthy, and no one knows where it will lead. 2 months later, after work, I met Trin Hao waiting in the parking lot. His eye sockets were sunken. His face was clearly haggard. Don, can we talk for a moment? You really were wrong. I didn't say anything, directly opened the car door, intending to get in and leave. Trin Hao suddenly rushed over and hugged me tightly. I immediately raised my hand and slapped him, then kicked him hard, causing him to fall flat on the ground. Trinhouse scrambled up and knelt down, starting to slap himself in the face. I beg you, if you don't forgive me, I will kneel here forever. I really felt embarrassed, not wanting to attract more attention, so I led him to a quiet tea house nearby. As soon as he sat down, he shyly opened his mouth. Don't, I was really wrong. Only now do I realize that the person I loved from the beginning to the end was always you. I liked the original language talisman, only because I saw your young image on her. She was just your substitute. In my heart from beginning to end, there was only you. I let her go. Let's remarry. It doesn't matter that you can't have children. Now we have Xiao Xiao, she is your child. Don, the people around him all go to buy sex regularly. Many of them even have sex with their own students. After being stripped of their jobs and changed to someone else, he really is the cleanest person among them. Hearing this, I suddenly became interested, and immediately pretended to calmly lead the way. Oh, I heard that the teachers of university are all upright people. Don't talk nonsense. Seeing that I didn't believe him, Cheng Hao quickly explained, all men are like that. The Dean of Academy C often comes to the headquarters, and the Secretary of Academy V is supporting 3 students. Every time Professor Li of Kui Academy goes to negotiate cooperation with a business, he makes his students drink with the guests. Don, I just made a mistake that every man has made. Please forgive me. Let's get back together. I will definitely treat you well. I heard what I needed and packed my bags to leave. Trinhouse, there is no more possibility between us. Seeing you makes me feel sick. If you dare come again, I will call the police. I'm scared. You have already humbled yourself to beg me like this. Are you still not satisfied? Humph, you really can't even pretend for 10 minutes. I firmly shook his hand off, returned to the garage, and intended to drive home. But I found Cheng Hao's phone lying next to my car. Maybe I kicked it too hard and it fell out. I entered the password and started to read his chat. He joined a scientific research group, but when I clicked on it, it was all about all kinds of prostitution services. A man who said that everyone around him was buying sex must have gone himself. Then I turned to the text messages between Cheng Hao and his mother. Son, that bitch with the original language talisman left on her own, just in time to save you the trouble of chasing her away. Now you should suffer a little loss. Wait until we finish dealing with the Sue business. Won't our family have everything? She's an only child. Wait until her parents pass away. Won't everything be yours? Her parents are old. She won't last another 2 years. Women still have to rely on men. What's the matter between her and the original language? Just coax her a little and it'll be over. I was so angry that the blood rushed to my head. It's fine to just count me, but he also dares to count my parents. As people, we should leave each other a way out so we can meet again easily in the future. I originally didn't intend to do things so heartlessly, but since Trinhouse has set his sights on my parents, don't blame me for being ruthless. Ever since the video of me turning off the talisman outside the operating room was leaked, I bought a button camera to carry with me. The original intention was just for self-protection. I didn't expect that this time Cheng Hao's entire slanderous speech would be recorded and become evidence. I went home, sorted out all the conversations on Cheng Hao's phone, washed them with the video from the button camera, and sent them directly to the Ministry of Education and the Discipline Inspection Commission. It was time to clean up this mess in the academic world. In order to avoid further harassment from Cheng Hao, I applied to go to Xinjiang to provide medical assistance. In the midst of that vast land, my heart gradually became calm again. In the second month after I arrived in Xinjiang, I saw the results of the handling of the professors at University A. It was not only a matter of personal morality, but also a series of academic corruption scandals. With so many bugs being brought out from Cheng Hao alone, the matter of my betrayal was no longer worth mentioning. In the distance, the snow-capped mountains were covered in a thick blanket of snow. A ray of sunlight pierced through the clouds and shone directly on the ground. My life had truly begun. This was the end of it. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more interesting stories. Goodbye and see you again.